It has no functioning parliament. There's not a single democratically elected government official in the entire country. And the appointed acting president took refuge hundreds of kilometers away in Puerto Rico. Unable to return home.
Greetings. My name is Jafrikayiti, and it is my intention to comment this video produced by CBC Radio-Canada about the ongoing crisis in my native Haiti. As we go through the video, you will see why we felt it necessary to say this about that. You heard the term interim president of Haiti for instance, Ariel Henry. This man is not the acting president of Haiti. He is neither the prime minister of Haiti. He was appointed not by Haitians, but by the occupation forces that have been in Haiti since 2004. This is the kind of context that is completely missing, not only from this CBC report, but several other mainstream reports that you will see about Haiti in the coming days. Let us continue watching.
Haiti's streets have been engulfed in violence for 2 days, with heavy gunfire reported near the international airport.
Planes were damaged, flights canceled. And even if Ariel Henry did find his way back into the country, he'd probably be killed by the gang leader demanding he hand over the keys to the country.
Si Ariel Henry pas démissionné, si communauté internationale là continue à supporter Ariel Henry, y a mené nous directement dans une guerre civile et cap déboucher sur un génocide.
Police stations have been attacked, businesses and schools have been closed, and a prison break saw thousands released from custody into the streets.
Port-au-Prince's streets looked like a war zone, all because one gang leader was fed up with the Haiti government.
We don't have a
Here is another comment that is problematic. You just heard the reporter say that all of this is happening because one gang leader does not allow the US appointed puppet to return to Haiti. False. Terribly false. This mayhem that you see in Haiti today is something that has been happening for several years now, and it is not the result of a strong man, that we will talk more about. There are local players such as the US armed militias that they are calling gangs, but there are also other players that you don't see on their screens that need to be discussed in order for you to have a complete picture of what is really happening in Haiti. Let us continue.
home to live in. We don't have food to eat. That's what they're shouting.
Many here now fear their country is on the brink of exploding.
Does it feel safe right now?
No,
It doesn't.
no, it doesn't.
The headline that probably caught your attention on this story was about the prison break.
2 major prison breaks.
To mass prison breaks.
Prison breaks.
There are actually 2 of them. This blue and white building is the Prison Civile de la Croix des Bouquets. It's a high-security prison where local human rights groups say about 1,400 inmates were being held. According to government figures, more than 1,000 escaped. But at a much bigger prison, Haiti's National Penitentiary, in the capital, Port-au-Prince, 3,700 inmates broke free. That's almost all of them. Heavily armed gangs carried out a massive, coordinated attack, wanting to free the prisoners at all costs, the government says.
Now, this is all factual and very important information. What you also need to understand is the reaction to this information. Where was the police that was supposed to be guarding the prisons? How many police officers perished during this attack? We don't have those numbers. There are more questions that require answering, especially when we compare this latest prison break with previous ones that have happened in other times, which followed immediate condemnation from the so-called international community, which is code word for the United States, Canada, France, what I call the blancs malveillants, or the wicked whites who have power or dominion over the territory of Haiti today.
Their whereabouts are unclear, but rumors and some indications are showing that some of them are hiding downtown in gangster hubs, and others have fled out in the country.
What was left? A prison eerily empty. No guards in sight. Plastic furniture and clothing strewn across the concrete patio. Haiti declared a state of emergency and imposed a curfew on its people. The fear that gang members and escaped prisoners wouldn't stop there, that they wanted vengeance against judges, lawyers, police.
Residents in Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, woke up to loud blasts and gunshots. A wave of panic swept through Haitians as they scrambled to save their lives.
The U.S. advised citizens to leave the country. Canada temporarily closed its embassy.
The situation is really deteriorating by the day since these 5 days of attacks by the gangs against state institutions. If they continue to coordinate and to mount these coordinated attacks in the capital, they could seize the remaining territories that they don't control in the capital.
Part of what has made Haitian police powerless to keep criminal gangs in check is how well armed they have become. So this nearly 50-page report last year from the UN, it's a real eye-opener into how illicit weapons get smuggled in from the United States. Mainly, they're from Florida. Handguns, AK-47s, AR-15s, sniper rifles, even belt-fed machine guns. They're hidden inside consumer products, electronic equipment, garment linings, frozen food items, or even the hulls of freighters. According to one report, these weapons have completely transformed the ecosystem of violence. And it means Haitian police are simply outgunned.
Indeed. What I was expecting the report to also tell me is who is importing those weapons illegally from Florida to Haiti, which the report that is quoted by the journalists do speak about. And Haitians who have been studying this, and by the way, there are also Haitian experts of Haiti, we'll talk about that later, have documented for years. What you do not see in this report is the fact that there are 15 white mafia families in Haiti. And one of their specialization is import-export. They control the import of almost every goods that are in Haiti, including drugs and illegal weapons, war-grade weapons. One of the things that make it easy for these white mafia families to get away with such crime for decades, okay, is that many of them were representative of foreign countries. For instance, the richest person in Haiti, a white Jewish man of the name Gilbert Bidjo, was the consulate of Israel for 25 years. This man, Gilbert Bidjo, is on the list of people the government of Canada has sanctioned for collusion with the US armed militias that they are calling gangs. We need to understand this context in order to see why the militias have been so powerful over all of these years while the country is under UN occupation, and they've been gradually disrupting, completely collapsing the Haitian state that they are calling failed, but they refrain from adding failed while under foreign occupation.
The Haitian National Police Force is not equipped. It does not have the intervention material required. No drones, no armored vehicles with battering rams, to knock down barricades set up by gangs. They have no protective equipment for special intervention and population protection brigades that should have at least 1,000 police officers equipped with shields and ballistic helmets, weapons and ammunition adapted, to gangs that are very well trained in the use of weapons.
One of the most influential gang leaders.
Before we move on to this next segment, the person we just heard, Michaelle Jean, was not only linked to the UNESCO. She is the former Governor General of Canada, who was appointed in August 2005, merely a few months after the government of Canada, the government of the United States, and France launched an invasion of Haiti, kidnapped the legitimate government of the country, and disrupted the whole Haitian state. And so today, when folks are looking at the Haitian National Police not being able to protect and serve Haitians, they should not pretend to be surprised by this fact. Okay, this was done on purpose by the foreign occupation forces, and people like Michaelle Jean did not do what, as someone of Haitian origin, would have been expected to do, that is, to use her influence to shift Canadian foreign policy from being a mere follower of racist US foreign policy towards Haiti, instead of becoming a civilized nation that normalizes its relationship with Haiti. Let's continue.
Jimmy Cherizier, also known as Barbecue.
I ask all the gangs to mobilize, take to the streets.
He's a former police officer, now leading a kind of gang federation, several gangs that have joined forces and have been perpetuating these attacks. And what do these gangs want?
I think that maybe we're witnessing a turning point in the dynamics of gang violence in Haiti, as rival gangs who until now had been fighting each other for the control of the capital appear to be joining forces to bring the Haitian government to its knees.
Let's talk about the word gang here. There are gangs in Montreal, gangs in New York, gangs in Toronto. And we know gangs fight for territory, for drug trafficking, etc. This is not what's happening in Haiti. This is why most people who are knowledgeable about what's happening in Haiti today are rejecting the term gang. Okay? These are militias. Militias that are equipped, and as the reports keep on showing, their weapons come from the United States, so-called the most powerful nation in the region, at least, if not in the world. Okay? And they say, this is a problem. Why cannot they mobilize their resources to stop those weapons from leaving the United States to enter Haiti, while they can stop Haitian refugees, Black Haitian refugees, from reaching the shores of Florida? They're very efficient at doing that. Okay, so these militias, who are criminals, many of them rapists, are associated with US organizations. And you will see that with regards to Jimmy Cherizier, who used to go around with a US flag on his chest, okay? Or with Guy Philippe, the former police officer who conducted the coup, armed and equipped by the CIA. These have been proven by multiple reports, documentaries, while he was in the Dominican Republic to conduct the coup in 2004 against the president of Haiti, Dr. Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who is an intellectual who has made alliances with countries like South Africa, with Cuba, and this is what the United States, Canada, and the white supremacist forces refuse the Haitians to have. That is, educated, Haitians who refuse to work on sweatshops for slave labor. They don't want that. They want to keep Haitians as the lowest paid folks in the Caribbean so that their multinational companies can continue to exploit Black Haitians in 2024, just like they exploited their ancestors a couple of centuries ago.
When we've looked at the weapons that they have M16s, M60s, they now have armor-piercing weapons, they have rocket-propelled launches, they have weapons to shoot down the one helicopter that the government has. They have acted as a pretty tight-knit commando unit. And they're led by, as I think you were pointing out in the introduction, they're led by people who were former associates of the Defense Intelligence Agency. Jodel Chamblain was the trigger man for FRAP during the military coup, and FRAP, as has been written, was really a creation of the Defense Intelligence Agency of the United States. What really happened is the combination of Jean Tatoun, who is a person the press has rarely reported about, in Gonaive, who is a former FRAP person and who we tried and convicted for gross violations of human rights and murder in Rabateau, which is the poor area of Gonaive. He's really been the person behind what's going on in Gonaive, and he obviously had very strong connections with Chamblain, the ex-head of FRAP, and Guy Philippe, who was a former member of the Haitian Armed Forces and has attempted already 2 previous coups, not only against Aristide, by the way, but against the Proval government. These people came through the Dominican border after the United States had provided 20,000 M16s to the Dominican Army. They came through the border, that is Philippe and Chamblain, with a really small army of about 20 or 30 highly trained military people with these M16s and M60s and all this other equipment. They came through the Dominican border with in several trucks with very, very heavy equipment. And quite frankly, I believe that the United States clearly knew about it before, and that given the fact of the history of these people, we are probably very, very deeply involved. And I think Congress needs to seriously look at what the involvement of the Defense Intelligence Agency and the Central Intelligence Agency has been in this operation, because it is a military operation. It's not a ragtag group of liberators, as has often been put in the press.
If it's true that Haiti's gangs have only gotten stronger
Militias.
over time, it is equally true that the government has gotten weaker.
Haiti is already a failed state.
Michaelle, Jean, Haiti has been failed by the Canadian government, of which you were Governor General. You must garner the courage to say the truth. And I did challenge you while you were Governor General. I sent you multiple letters that describe what, in your position as Governor General of Canada, as the wife of a French intellectual, you could have done, okay, by going to France and demanding that the government of Sarkozy, of Holland, and the current fool Macron return to Haiti the $115 billion that they had ransomed from the country from 1825 to 1947 as reparation to the enslavers who had lost their property. Your ancestors, my ancestors, you did not do that. And so Haiti did not fail. You and I failed. We failed because we were complacent, not wanting to make our fellow Canadians uncomfortable by truths that we know. And we played along using cautious words and blaming the victims because we are afraid of the culprits. No, Haiti has not failed, Michael Jean. Your class of privileged blacks have failed.
We do know that corruption is endemic in this country.
This criminal regime is unacceptable to us Haitians.
That dynamic where you have large swaths of the population that have been totally abandoned by the state produces exactly this kind of violence, exactly this kind of instability, and exactly this kind of sort of political instability specifically.
Where is the elected president now? Dead.
Haiti's President Jovenel Moïse has been assassinated at his home in Port-au-Prince.
Colombian mercenaries, paid by whom unknown, broke.
No, it's not unknown. Please, do your homework, people. There are plenty of reports that shows that CTU is a Florida-based company, and there is a man arrested who is in jail, presumably in jail, Woodolph Jarre, who admits that he was collecting money. And in the Haitian circles, people were saying that almost the whole of what they're calling the private sector in Haiti, what I call the 15 white mafia families, contributed to that pocket of money for the assassination of Jovenel Moïse. And of course, we need to ask ourselves, how come the investigation is happening in the United States? How come several of the people who are arrested are linked to the DEA and the FBI? While the mercenaries were entering the house of Jovenel Moïse, they were screaming DEA. One of the criminals who participated in the assassination, who was responsible for the badges, the DEA badges that these people were carrying, happened to have died while in jail. They claim that it was COVID, a very special kind of COVID that went into the penitentiary and chose this one guy to kill him and left everybody else. No, we got to do our homework. Yeah, we know who paid them. Several reports have identified the culprits. We also know that 4 months before taking down Jovenel Moïse, the former US ambassador to Haiti, Pamela White, advising President Joe Biden on what to do about Haiti, because these people have, you know, a fascination with fixing Haiti all the time. She said that the solution is to shove Jovenel Moïse aside, the former puppet president, and to appoint a prime minister. And this is exactly what happened. These people don't read into the future. I'm not superstitious. Okay? So Americans were talking about putting Jovenel Moïse aside, and Jovenel Moïse was put aside. Those mercenaries that came from Colombia cost, you know, a lot of money, and it took a lot of logistics. And the folks who are associated with the CTU company that are Miami-based, that are linked to right-wing Venezuelans, some of them who were involved in attempts at the life of Nicolas Maduro and the president of Bolivia, this needs to be investigated. And we need to understand why the FBI and the DEA, who have their agents who are involved, such as Vincent, in the crime, and all of a sudden the newspapers are calling them ex-FBI informants. When did they earn their ex? As soon as they commit the crime, now they're no longer FBI or DEA. What's happening here? No, we need to do the homework, and I expect CBC Radio-Canada to actually answer those important questions. And also, where is the camera that was in the room of Jovenel Moïse? Okay, the FBI had access to the crime scene. On what basis? I don't know. Okay, we need to know what the camera has shown. We do not need to speculate 3, 4, 5 years after the fact.
Into the home of Jovenel Moïse late at night.
Unverified video shows the early morning chaos unfolding in the street.
They beat him severely before riddling his body with bullets. He apparently tried to call police. None arrived in time. Of the 6 bodyguards on duty that night, Haitian police say 2 were in on the assassination. The other 4 didn't put up a fight. That was in 2021.
Now, what the report is not telling you, among the people who escaped on March the 3rd are several of these people who were arrested for complicity in the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, including folks that are very close. The main person who was responsible for the security of the president, Dimitri Hérard, who is a close associate of Michel Martelly, okay, the former puppet president who was handpicked by Hillary Clinton, who entered Haiti in 2010, rigged the elections. This is not hearsay. This is on the record. The director of the Electoral Council, Pierre-Louis Aupon, admitted that it was the whites, the core group, the ambassadors of Canada, the United States, these people who came, and Hillary Clinton in person, who ordered him to change, to falsify the results of the election.
Président Conseil électoral provisoire Pierre-Louis Aupon déclaré matin jeudi à résultat élection 2010 yo li te remettre comme directeur général l'ancien KIP Gaïro d'Orsainville là, c'est pas yo même qui t'est publié comme quoi c'est pas le président Michel Martelly qui t'est élu. Monsieur Aupon qui t'a essayé bay dans micro Radio Vision 2000 explication sur silence li dans dossier ça déclaré li te craint pour pas de gain des blousailles dans pays après tout chita parler qui t'est fait entre quelques représentants communauté internationale là avec autorité haïtienne yo sous publication résultat yo.
Les gagnants et les perdants ne m'ont pas convoqué dans une assemblée publique ou devant un tribunal pour me témoigner, me refuser de témoigner. Non. Il y a eu une entente entre les gagnants et les perdants, entre les composants de la société haïtienne, pour accepter la solution qui nous a été imposée. Et jusqu'à présent, j'en parle.
Remove the person who was supposed to go on second round and put Michel Martelly, who then became president, embezzled all kinds of funds. And Michel Martelly handpicked Jovenel Moïse. And there started to be conflict between Jovenel Moïse and Michel Martelly. But all of these folks who were close to Michel Martelly, who were in jail for the assassination of Jovenel Moïse, just vanished out of prison. Do you hear the government of Canada, the government of the United States, the government of France asking or demanding, as they usually do with regards to what's happening in Haiti, the rearrest of these criminals who are close to Michel Martelly? No. Okay? It's just, okay, it's just Haiti. Things like that happen.
Over 2 weeks since that assassination and after days of political uncertainty, Ariel Henry is officially the head of government.
Ariel Henry, the prime minister, took up the job, but he's widely seen as illegitimate.
No, he is not widely seen. He is illegitimate. In Haiti, a prime minister is not a head of state. He's a head of government. The head of state is elected by the people. And the head of state, for instance, Jean-Bertrand Aristide, who was president in 2004, would identify a prime minister who is proposed to the legislature. And the legislature would verify the person's credentials, the history, and then they would vote whether or not to accept the person as prime minister. None of this happened in the case of Ariel Henry. And it's not because it was an emergency situation, the president has just been assassinated, etc. No, it's because it's the white man, okay, like Blinken, like Trudeau, like and women like Melanie Joly and etc. These are the people who make decisions in Haiti. And so they issued a tweet on July 17th, 2021, and selected this fool as prime minister on account that before he was assassinated, Jovenel Moïse had named him, but did not have the opportunity to swear him in as prime minister. But what you need to know about Ariel Henry is that this man was chosen by the Americans after the coup in 2004 to put in another illegal structure that they call the Council of the Wise. So he's a client of theirs, just like many of the monsters that you see that they are now pointing to in Haiti are directly linked to the United States. It's like Frankenstein playing games with us, every now and again they're pointing to the flaws of one of their monsters, and as if we're supposed to pretend to be stupid and not understand that Frankenstein is the one running the show.
Failing to deliver the elections he promised years ago. Most recently, a week ago, he's tried to pacify his critics, saying, okay, elections by August of next year, 2025. But shortly after that announcement, the complete collapse of civil society that I've just outlined for you.
Everything is disrupted. There's no work is not functioning normally. There's no school. Banks are closed. You can barely go to a supermarket.
Their inability to live, right, and to just go about their daily life has been extraordinary.
Like I said at the start, Haiti is, in an important way, currently a country without a leader. Henry left last week to Kenya to secure an agreement to have that country send police officers to Haiti, a desperate play to restore order.
Yesterday, Kenyan President William Ruto said he met with Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry and that they discussed the way forward in fast-tracking the deployment of Kenyan policemen in Haiti.
Kenya!
What they are not telling you is that Kenya has been used in the past for the same purpose. For instance, in the Congo, where the white supremacist forces want to access the vast mineral resources of these African people, and then they mobilize Kenyan mercenaries to help them do that. To understand exactly what is happening here, you have to look at another statement by the former US ambassador to Haiti, Pamela White, who point blank, since over 2 years now, almost 2 years now, yes, started to publish in newspapers in the Caribbean, in the United States, a call for the private sector in Haiti, which is code word for the 15 white mafia families who control import, export, everything. She said that Haiti had made these people incredibly rich. They need to stop playing games with gangs. Okay, so that means even the former US ambassador to Haiti admits that the militias that they are calling gangs, it's those 15 white mafia families that is, like she said, playing games with them. Okay, that is in cahoots with them. She said that they should put real money on the ground, okay, and mobilize force, real force, whether it is former police officers from New York, mercenaries, from wherever, and have these people fix the situation for them. And so when you see them talking about Kenyan troops, troops from Senegal coming to Haiti, it is not about protecting the Haitian population. There was never any desire to protect Black Haitians. This is all about maintaining the status quo and the apartheid, the economic apartheid that the United States maintains in Haiti with those 15 white mafia families who specialize in import export of cocaine, heroin, drugs, weapons, and food stuff, and of course petroleum and other stuff. This is known, but you will not see that on CBC Radio-Canada, CNN, France 24. And there's a reason for that. There is complicity.
Has previously signaled a willingness to send up to 1,000 officers, but this latest deal, there are no hard numbers that I know of, no firm deployment date either. And more broadly, there is a great international reluctance to get too deeply embroiled in what is very literally a war zone. Some world leaders have called for Henry to resign, which he refuses to do. The United States says merely that he should put some sort of transition in motion, an election, as soon as possible. But
an election does not make a democracy, right? And I think the lesson from Haiti's recent history illustrates that quite clearly.
Restoring order seems a long way off. And as usual, it's the people of Haiti stuck in the middle with nowhere to turn.
Yes. So I mentioned earlier that there are Haitian experts, including those who speak English, Spanish, French, and importantly, Haitian Creole, which is the only language that all Haitians understand. Now, why is it you do not see people like Dr. Jemima Pierre, who is a professor at UBC, or Professor Mamira Douge-Prosper, who is a professor in the US, also of Haitian origin? How come you don't hear them talk about the crisis in Haiti as Haitian expert when this matter is being discussed? I posit that it is not rocket science. It is because these ladies have spoken uncomfortable truths about the ongoing crimes of white terrorism against Haitians. Indeed, you described it as a war zone, but we need to describe which are the two parties at war in Haiti. There's not an army in Haiti. So who is at war? The militias, the US armed militias, their victims come almost exclusively from the black, impoverished class, which is the majority, which is 99% of Haitians. How come that makes sense when they're supposed to be gangs that are doing kidnapping for ransom? How come they're not kidnapping the millionaires of Haiti, who many of them are white, therefore very visible? You would think that they'd be easily attacked. No. What's happening in Haiti right now is a strategic disruption of the electoral map. These militias were deployed in areas where Lavalas, the party of Jean-Bertrand Aristide, was popular, is popular. And so they are terrorizing the black Haitian population. And we have posited for several years now that there are logical solutions to the problem. Two of the main leaders of these militias who have armed them, and according to the UN report, Michel Martelly, the former puppet president, is at the core of most of the gangs in Port-au-Prince. How come he's not being arrested? He's in Miami, Florida. The other end of that is Gilbert Bidjo, who controls almost 50% of the economy of Haiti and is funding the militias. If you arrest these two men who are in Miami, you don't need to invade Haiti. But in order to do that, you'd have to admit that what's happening in Haiti is not gang warfare, that it is an international crime scene, which involves, unfortunately, participation of the government of Canada and its resources. And that cannot go on CBC. And this is why I had to say this about that. Thank you.